Welcome back, friends, to TV5 News at 9. It is time now for Aging in Style with American Retirement Advisors. Joining us this morning is President and owner Joe Vitale. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you, Joe?
Doing good, Colette. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. So, Joe, you are always here giving us such important information on retirement, but if you at home want to hear more from Joe, of course you do, be sure to grab your phones and scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe to his newsletter. It's called Financial Vitals, where you can stay tuned in to the very latest financial news and market updates. We are going to love that. Okay, so now on to today's topic. Joe, we need you today. How to recession-proof your retirement. Joe, with all the inflation that's going on right now and the stock market volatility, what are the chances that we could be going into a recession, and what can we do about it? We need your help, Joe.
Yeah, unfortunately, it kind of looks like we're trending that way right now.
Yes.
Inflation is through the roof right now. I mean, everything is very expensive. We see the volatility in the market. We're down anywhere between 15 to almost 30% in the market. So very scary times, and there's definitely, we've been there before, and we're going to go into some strategies because we have been there before, and a lot of times this is, everybody's like, oh my goodness, maybe they haven't seen it when they're close to retirement like this, and they don't know what to do, but there are some options and things we can do. So unfortunately, it looks like we're trending that way. We really need to get things in order right now.
Yeah, so Joe, is there a way that someone in retirement or going into retirement can recession-proof their retirement?
For sure. I mean, just like back in 08, we had clients who were, remember the Great Recession, we had clients who were in retirement getting ready, and of course everybody was freaking out at that time. But you can recession-proof your retirement. And how do you do that? You have enough cash on hand. You have your debt under control, if or at least no debt or very, very little. You have consistent income. You have growth money for the long-term growth that can be in the market, where you keep your head, you don't start selling. Where people who started selling last time didn't ever make it back. They lost their shirts. But if you stay the course, have enough cash on hand, have enough consistent income, make sure you've got long-term growth, and keep your expenses in order, you're going to make it through.
Okay, stay the course, cash on hand. Oh, lots to remember here, Joe. Thank you so much for that. Great tips. So how about inflation? What is it now? And how can families actually counter that or keep up with inflation and get a positive return without risk?
Well, it's over 8% right now, and it's very difficult to get a guaranteed 8% out there right now and keep up with it. Long term, just like long-term investors, yes, you can average, 8 to 10%, 12% of the market over time if you're invested properly. But for guarantees, you're not going to find that. The best guarantees you're going to find out there right now is about 4%. And so there are some safe options, even though you really can't keep up with the 8% right now. There are some very good portfolios that are actually very, very positive this year that you can take advantage of. There's also some guarantees over 4% right now. So at least you're not losing money safely. Too many people have way too much money in the bank right now. And it's like, well, it's safe. Yeah, but you're losing money safely. You're not getting anything. So there are some ways to diversify properly and keep up.
Oh, that's really good to know. Okay, Joe. So are there options to beat inflation with little to no risk in a portfolio?
There are. There's some very good options right now. There are alternatives that we work with where when the market goes up, you can do very, very well when the market goes up. When it goes down, you don't lose anything or very, very little. So that's what a lot of people are like, I really just want to get a good positive rate of return. I don't want a lot of risk. It's okay to have some of your money at risk if you can stomach that, because long term it's going to win the race. But in the interim, you still need to have money where you have good consistent rates of return. You don't have a lot of volatility or down or no volatility at all. And that's where we come in, is definitely give us a call, because we can take a look at it and say, my goodness, this is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Or we really need to tweak this and make sure that you've got that. We talk about that sleep at night insurance.
Yes.
To make it through.
Definitely need that sleep at night insurance, that's for sure, Joe. So what do you suggest to retirees who are in retirement and maybe have too much or too little risk in the market?
I see that a lot. I met with somebody recently, I can't even tell you how much sitting in the bank earning 0.0. And they said, we have too much in the bank. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's way too much. So that can be, again, you're losing money safely. So moving that into strategies where you're getting a 3-4% rate of return, or potentially 5-6-7% rate of return with little to no risk. Also, long-term portfolios, putting it into good quality growth portfolios that can still make 15, 20, 30%. Of course, there's no guarantee with that. But long-term, we've got those people who stayed the course in 2008, made it back in 2 years. And that's what we got to remember, is the market will go up, the market will go down. Big companies that pay good dividends, big companies been around for 100 years, they're still going to be around, and they're still going to, so we want to be invested properly, but we just don't want to we want to make sure that our portfolios are not too heavily one way or another. We have to have that proper allocation.
Yeah, I have to say though, Joe, having too much in the bank is a good problem to have, you know? Anything else, any other tips you want to give viewers before we wrap up here?
Well, that's what a lot of times, give us a call, because too many times, you know, everybody's like, Joe, my goodness, why is this happening? Well, you know, the rates have been too low for too long. We've had too much free money, and now this is what happens. People would say, my goodness, how are we going to counter this? Well, you're already starting to see it. People are starting to pull back on their spending because really you can't afford it anymore, especially with the gas prices, with how expensive everything is at the store. So people are looking at ways, maybe they call it staycations, right? Or just, you know, making sure we don't go everywhere all the time. There's always options to look at, but the biggest thing I can tell you is to make sure you have enough cash on hand for emergency funds, because we're going to have the ups and downs. Are we at the bottom of the market yet? We don't know. You know, I think we might still have a little ways to go, and we're down pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing a lot of people buying in the market. We're seeing a lot of opportunities. So, you know, don't be too afraid. Just make sure, as long as we're properly allocated, like we always say, you're going to do okay. So give us a call. We'll help you through it.
A lot of peace of mind you gave us today, Joe. Thank you so much. Appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Colette. Take care.
Of course, you're welcome. You too. Now, again, for the latest financial news and market updates, be sure to subscribe to Joe's newsletter. It's called Financial Vitals. And if you want more information on today's topic, just head on over to the Aging and Style page. That's at WNEM.com.